Okay, at this time, I'd like to call our the State Transportation Board meeting to order for our August meeting. So, thank you all for being here. And at this time, Jeff, would you do our invocation, and then we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Let us pray. Father God, we bow before you this moment, Lord, just lifting up our thanks to you that we can gather together and conduct the people's business for this department and for this state, Lord. And we just ask you to bless all of our actions, our deliberations. Be with those who serve this state in this department, Father, and just protect them when they're out doing the work on behalf of the public. Be with us now, Lord, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today. And Kristen, at this time, I'm going to let you do a roll call since we do have some calling in.
Okay, I'll go by Congressional District. 1, Ms. Russell. Present. 2, Mr. Floyd.
Present.
3, Mr. McIntyre. Here. 4, Mr. Brown. 5, Ms. Key. 6, Mr. Abel.
Here.
7, Mr. Bowen.
Here.
8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn.
Here.
10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Morris. 13, Ms. Lemon. 14, Mr. Sharon.
Here.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for those of you that have called in. At this time, I hope everyone has reviewed your minutes that you received in your email, and if so, do we have a motion to approve as presented?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, we're going to call on Mr. Albert Shelby.
So good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner, and members of the board. I'm here to present the projects the department is proposing to advertise for the September 2022 letting. So before we present September, here are the FY 2023 results. We have let a total of 22 projects. The chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 22 projects is approximately $150.6 million through the July 2022 bid awards, and all are GDOT let. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with maintenance, bridge, and road projects making up the bulk of those types. Here are the results of the July 2022 letting. Of the 24 GDOT let contracts presented to the board, 22 were awarded and 2 were rejected. Now I'm going to discuss the projects in the September 2022 letting. We have a total of 29 projects, and all are GDOT let. These next 2 slides list the 23 non-TIA projects arranged by congressional district. So as you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge, capacity, enhancement, bridge maintenance, and safety issues. So 8 of our projects for this letting are safety focused. We propose to let a variety of safety improvements, including roadway signage, cable barriers, guardrail, and a roundabout. These projects are a great example of our continued commitment to improve the safety of the traveling public. The first highlighted project is to construct a single-lane roundabout at the intersection of State Route 11, which is also State Route 49, and State Route 247. This roundabout will improve operational efficiency by removing the current stop condition, and the roundabout will also improve safety. This project is a replacement of the structurally deficient bridges on State Route 85, which is US 27, over Miller Road. The existing bridges were constructed in 1961, 61 years ago. And here's a ground view of those bridges to be replaced. This next project is the widening of State Route 20 from the existing 2-lane facility to a 4-lane facility with a raised median and urban shoulders. The project begins at I-75 and ends at the intersection with Phillips Drive for a length of 1.5 miles. Bicycle and pedestrian improvements are also proposed, including a 5-foot sidewalk on the south side and a multi-use path on the north side. A notable feature of the project is a multi-lane roundabout at the existing State Route 20 intersection with McDonough Parkway. The next project will resurface State Route 7, which is US 41, from State Route 7 Business to Greystone Way in 9.6 miles. This section was last repaved in 2005, 17 years ago. This next project is a replacement of the structurally deficient bridge on State Route 77 over Coldwater Creek. The existing bridge was constructed in 1939, 83 years ago. And here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. The final highlighted project consists of improvements along North 2nd Avenue, which is also State Route 101 in Rome. The project begins at the Ostanala River Bridge, just south of the intersection of West 3rd Street and North 2nd Ave, and ends on Martha Berry Boulevard, just north of the intersection of Turner McCall Boulevard. The length of the project is 0.6 miles. The Y intersection will be removed, and all traffic will be routed to a 4-legged intersection at North 2nd Avenue and Turner McCall Boulevard. The typical section includes 4 lanes separated by a raised median, and this project will improve traffic safety, pedestrian safety, and operational efficiency.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner, members of the board. I'm here to present the TIA projects for the September letting. The TIA office has 6 projects in 2 different districts, 1 project in Muskogee and River Valley and in Congressional District 2, and 5 projects in Southern Georgia in Congressional District 8. Oh, sorry, I didn't even... The project in Muskogee County is Old Casita Road at I-85. This project will construct a new interchange along I-85 in southern Muskogee County. The project will include a roundabout on the northbound exit side, and the project will also relocate Far Road further east on Old Casita. The project will also include pedestrian upgrades, turn lanes to facilitate turning along Casita and Old Casita, and a new roundabout at Casita Road and Old Casita Road. This project represents a approximately $53 million commitment and to the River Valley community, and is one of our last projects in River Valley to let in this 10-year cycle. We only have 1 left to go. Our next project, we're transitioning to southern Georgia. All these projects are in Brooks County. This is Webster Road sidewalk and drainage improvements. This project will construct sidewalk along the east side of Webster Road from US 84 to the west boundary street, and along the west side of Webster Road from US 84 to Mitchell Ave. This project will include curb and gutter and storm drain through that area and resurface the remaining 2.45 miles of the roadway from US 84 to Georgia 333. This represents a total TIA investment of approximately $2.3 million in the southern Georgia region. In the city of Quitman, we will be doing sidewalk project, or 4 sidewalk projects. These are all let together in one bundle. On Barwick Road and North Highland Road, we will be adding sidewalks and doing drainage improvements. On North Martin Luther King Street and South Court Street, we will just be adding new sidewalks. So these 4 projects will represent a $2.7 million commitment to the southern Georgia region in Brooks County. Is that? Sorry.
Yes, sir. All right, so we have 29 projects proposed for the September 2022 letting. This chart shows the distribution by improvement type. The estimate of the projects in the September 2022 letting is approximately $129.5 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. So I now ask for your consideration for approval for the proposed projects presented in the September 2022 letting.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the September 22 letting? I think we do have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Albert. Very good presentation. Okay, at this time, Matt Markham, I've asked you to come from our Office of Planning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner, members of the board. It's a pleasure to come before you this morning to present proposed revisions to the construction work program. As I do most months, I'm going to have two sets of projects for you, one to bring forth for your review the first time, and then another set to bring forward for action that were brought for review the last month. So first, these are brought forward for your review this morning. 4 projects, all additions to the construction work program. 2 of them are bridges in congressional districts 10 and 12, and 2 of them are statewide projects to install technology along the interstates to support connected vehicles. So those are the projects there. And then this set of projects are coming for you for action today. There are 2 projects, both additions to the work program. One is a new interchange along I-16 in Congressional District 1, and the other is a slope repair project in Congressional District 9. So, Madam Chair, these are for you for action today. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the revisions to the construction work program?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Commissioner.
Good morning, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. It's a pleasure to be with you this month. We'll start, as always, with our Transportation Fund collection results for the month of July, which is the first month of FY 2023. It's hard to keep up with fiscal years sometimes, but we're already in 2023. Collections totaled $22.832 million, composed of $19.22 million in transportation fees and $3.61 million in excise, and that's due to the suspension, obviously, that's still in place of excise tax. That brings our fiscal year date to the same number since it's the first month of the fiscal year. So $22.83 million in collections thus far. But as you recall, yesterday when Angela provided the budget presentation, our budget remains full, and there's no impacts to our budget because of the suspension of the excise. So that is news. Now, the next item I always like to talk about is our employment data. At the end of July, we totaled 3,609 full-time employees. We had 19 temporary maintenance staff, which will be converted to full-time staff very quickly. We hired 56 employees, and we had 47 separate. So we were on the plus side of this month from hiring from separations, which is always good. And I'm going to highlight a little bit of some initiatives and about hiring later in my presentation. I think you'll find of great interest. Our procurement report for professional services has monthly activity for July totaled at 229 contracts executed that were valued at $154.8 million for those professional services, things like engineering, design, right-of-way, geotechnical, and et cetera. And again, since it's the first month of the fiscal year, that's the total year to date, $154.8 million in professional services. Now, since we were together last time, I wanted to highlight just a few projects. And again, these are only a few projects around the state that I thought we would like to highlight to you. And again, we've continued this theme about how critical bridges are in getting our bridges in a state of good repair across all of Georgia, not only on GDOT roads, but on local roads as well. The first project indeed is in Congressional District 3 in Carroll County, GDOT District 6, which is, again, a capital improvement project for bridge replacements. It replaces a bridge on County Road 35 over Indian Creek. Our contractor was Baldwin Paving Company. It opened to traffic on July 26. It represents a total investment of $2 million, which came from our state-funded bridge program. And so again, state dollars focused on local bridges. So this is a great project that opened ahead of schedule, and here is the picture of it. And I might add, we design for all users. We talk about technology and innovation a lot, and but here we go with one of our first customers across the bridge. And I want you to remember that picture for another project in just a moment. Our next project I'd like to highlight was in Congressional District 7 in Gwinnett County, which is GDOT District 1. This project is another capital bridge replacement project. It consisted of the bridge and approaches on a very busy State Route 120 over Singleton Creek in Gwinnett County. Contractor was E.R. Snell Contractor, opened to traffic July 25th. It represents $11.2 million capital construction investment. The project opened to traffic on schedule. And here's what that location looks like. And this is a very busy part of the world in Gwinnett County. Next project is in Congressional District 8 down in Brooks County, which is GDOT District 4, another capital bridge project. The project consisted of the replacement of State Route 122 over Mule Creek. So remember that horse and buggy, mule driven? There we go. The picture didn't match, but here we go. We have a connection here. The contractor was Doyle Hancock and Sons Construction, and it opened to traffic on July 28th, just the end of last month. Represents a $3.9 million capital construction investment, and it was here's the picture of that. There you can see this is a great picture to show you the complexity sometimes in building or replacing a pretty straightforward bridge. Right, it doesn't get much straighter than that. But if you look to the left picture, you can see that they had to build a temporary bridge to bring the beams in, and the picture on the left shows them setting the beams over the Mule Creek there. And if you really look in the foreground or the top of the screen on the left picture, you can see the truckload of beams and just see how long and how big those beams are. So that's a great picture showing you the complexity that it takes even just to place a beam sometimes. They had to build a temporary bridge just to be able to do that. So a great investment there. But there's more. Let's move to Congressional District 12 in Treutlen County, GDOT District 2. You know, you get some phone calls in the middle of the night that you just don't want sometimes. And if you remember back to July of last year, down on I-16 in Treutlen County, there was the dump truck that hit the bridge that knocked it off its foundation and supports. And if you recall, our district responded immediately and set up detours and worked a couple of days in a row there to manage traffic. But within during the weekend, I mean, really within a day or two, had I-16 back open, and the bottom left picture shows you the demolition that happened very quick so that we could get I-16 traffic flowing. But here we are, just a year later, with the bridge being completed. And the contractor was Georgia Bridge and Concrete, represented a $3.7 million construction contract, and it was completed on schedule. So pretty good testament, right, for unexpected bridge replacement to happen, for design to be able to turn out plans, get bids, and then have it all reconstructed in a year's time. So that's pretty record-breaking speed for sure. So certainly glad to have that open and getting traffic flowing back on State Route 86.
Russell, who pays for that type of construction when that bridge has been?
So we pay for it initially, and we seek to recover insurability. And so we've actually been dealing with this insurance company for this trucking company to try to recover, and we'll work through that process. I'm not sure if we've closed that, gone all the way through that process, but I know we have had meetings with them and trying to recover.
Okay.
So that is our goal, to try to recover. But Usually, insurability has limits, and so we'll seek the maximum we can.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I can't speak to if he's still driving a truck, but I can assure you he's not driving for that company. All righty. All righty. As always, I like to take time to highlight, things going on in the department and any honors or recognition, and certainly would be remiss if I didn't have this opportunity to acknowledge significant contribution to the department of Angela Whitworth, who has served for 25 years in the state. So Angela, come up here and let me embarrass you more. Here you go. Congratulations, Angela. 25 years goes by in a hurry. So thanks for your commitment and dedication and what you do. It makes a big difference. Also, in recognition, we just came from the WTS breakfast this morning. It was all about partnerships and relationships. And I got a text yesterday from a colleague of mine that I have great respect for, and somebody that helped lead this nation in transportation in his role as secretary and the Oklahoma DOT. And Mike Patterson's here. I'll ask Mike to stand up. He's a great friend of mine, and it's just really neat that he's here. Mike? All righty. Again, in the awards category, I'm pleased to announce that for the third year in a row, GDOT's Office of Procurement earned the 2022 Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award from the National Procurement Institute. This really is a prestigious award that recognizes organizational excellence in the public and nonprofit procurement areas, and really highlights the professionalism that our staff exhibits in the Office of Procurement. The Achievement of the Excellence in Procurement Award is earned by those organizations that demonstrates excellence by attaining a high score based on standardized criteria. The criteria are designed to measure innovation, professionalism, productivity, e-procurement, and leadership attributes of the procurement organization. And as noted, GDOT is only one of 5 of state agencies, not DOTs, but state agencies to receive such an award from the National Procurement Institute. So I want to congratulate Treasurer Young, Mary Zyrock, and the entire Office of Procurement for their very high and very well-deserved honor from the National Procurement Institute. Let's give them a round of applause. Really good theme today as we talked about partnerships and relationships. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to advance the slide there. That's what a gold ribbon looks like. Recently, well, not recently, but over the last few years, we've had a real focus again on trying to enhance our staff's capabilities and give them the tools that they need to be successful. At 3,600 employees, we have to make sure our saw is razor sharp because we don't have the manpower that we previously did when we were at much higher staffing levels. So it's very critical that we continue to invest in our employees and give them the tools they need to be successful. And I had, as you recall, just a couple months ago, you honored Jimmy Smith as his retirement, but Jimmy had been working with our area managers across the state, across all 7 districts, 32 of them, in fact, to really focus them and help them have the tools and skills they need to manage and lead their areas. And actually gave them a challenge statement for them to find ways to improve recruitment and especially retention, right? If you have better retention, then you don't have to work quite as hard on the recruitment side. So what can they do? And the 32 area managers were broken up into 4 teams, which affectionately gave themselves names. One was called the Responsible Party, and they focused on construction inspector series positions. What can they do for our construction inspector series? GDOT Team 102 worked with our maintenance labor workers and equipment operator positions. And then there was the 3rd team called Team Statewide, who focused on our interns and civil engineering graduate positions. And then there was the Great 8%, and I never quite got why they called them the Great 8%, but they focused on the recruitment. And this was all from a focus of what they can do in their individual areas, not what we can do here, but what they can do, and really empowered them. There was really two main training sessions that Jimmy worked with them on. The first section we had here, which we brought in each of the departments, each of the offices of the department, to provide a session to inform them about what they do and who they are. Again, to give our area managers the breadth of understanding of the department, and if at minimal, at least the contact person, should something come up, they would know who to contact in the area. And I can tell you, as an area manager a long time ago in Athens, this office was sort of a mystery. I knew a little bit about what was going on in the district office and knew who to call there, but to call down here, and back then we had phones, there was not, internet, but, to call somebody was like, you just didn't know who to call. So we wanted to, again, provide an opportunity that the area managers had relationships and contacts across the entire agency to really broaden their knowledge of GDOT. And again, to meet people, and we, at least you can do a virtual meeting now, and you don't have to drive down here to meet people. So that was great. That was the first meeting here. The second meeting was held in May back in the Macon area office, and focused on the management-related topics of the area office environment. And this session allowed all the district engineers to come in as well and spend time with the area managers, sharing their expectations and experiences and lessons learned with our area managers, to really, again, so that they can continue to sharpen their saw. All this culminated on July 27th with all the area managers showing up here and giving a presentation to basically the executive management team and our HR team, the recruitment and HR, of their findings of those 4 teams in the categories. And they came up with tremendous ideas, and the best thing that I can say about it was they walked away empowered, knowing that they absolutely can make a difference. It's very rare that we have all our area managers and district engineers. I think we were missing 1 or 2 area managers due to conflict, but pretty much had the entire state represented here. And it was certainly a proud day to get everybody in a photo and to highlight the great work they did. They are committed to work on the recruitment and retention part, and we certainly will be too here from the state level to support them in those efforts, so that those numbers I report to you early in this report continue to rise and not decline. So very proud of them, certainly proud of the work Jimmy Smith did to prepare this. The one thing that Jimmy did was put this in motion, such as a legacy, that this opportunity to continue to give learning opportunities to our area managers continue. So great outcome there. Now, since we were together last time, we had a really unique meeting. Myself, Meg Perkle, Clement Solomon, and Josh Waller and Janine Miller had an opportunity to meet with members of the Surface Transportation Board. That is the independent federal agency that works for economic regulation of surface transportation, primarily freight railroads. And so when you're talking about dealing with our Class 1 railroads here in Georgia, we have Norfolk Southern and CSX. They were in town meeting with Norfolk Southern, since their Norfolk Southern's headquarters is right across the street here, national headquarters. They were meeting with them, but thought it would be great to come by and visit with us. And we had a fantastic meeting that I thought was going to be about 30 minutes. I think we ended up getting out here like at 6 o'clock. So we had a fantastic meeting. The tall feller in the front is Patrick Fuchs. The lady to the right of me is Karen Headland, who is actually has a Georgia connection. And to the far right is Robert Primus, who is the vice chair. So we had 3 of the 5 members of the Surface Transportation Board here. We talked about freight rail, talked about the Class 1s, talked about our short line rail and the interface with Class 1s. And they're laser focused on trying to improve the efficiency and operations of the freight rail network with the challenges that they are all facing, which is, like everybody, labor and shortages. And obviously the rail lines are critical for this nation's success of moving freight and goods, not only in Georgia, but across the entire nation. So it was really a great opportunity. And And I'll just tell you, through my time and all these years of transportation, you always heard about, well, you got to go to the Surface Transportation Board, you know, and we met them. It was pretty awesome. And the great folks, very business-minded, very strategic. I felt really good after meeting with them to know that, you know, that their perspective of how critical rail industry is to this nation and what they're trying to do to improve and work with the Class 1s to help them be successful and focus on success was very refreshing. Now let me skip back to sort of some, again, innovation and again, focused on our staff and growing our staff. Was last week we partnered with Indeed.com for a virtual job fair to recruit highway maintenance technicians into these positions. Highway maintenance technicians, we sort of rebranded from the equipment operator to be more reflective of what they actually do. And we're trying to, again, recruit people with the understanding that it's not just, you're not just going to do labor work. We're going to train you. In fact, we'll provide your training that's necessary to get CDL training free of charge. If you do that independently, you have to pay for that. So this virtual job fair targeted many of the maintenance technicians' vacancies across the state. It's really a great partnership with Indeed because of the great reach they have, and it's the #1 jobs website out there. This was the first time we sort of partnered with a platform like this to do basically a virtual job fair, and it appears to be a good success. Applicants were invited to register for a 30-minute interview, and we offered positions on the spot. Right there on a virtual interview, we're able to offer positions. So we blanket the state with this to the call to action using both traditional social media and issuing media alerts that got us coverage so that candidates knew that this was possible through Indeed. Certainly want to thank all the internal partners from our district HR teams, district management, IT, and communications for this event. If you follow our social media channels, you saw that this was blasted all over those about this virtual job fair. And so it's doing our part, again, to try to bring people into GDOT for a fantastic career. So congratulations to HR for this. We have to keep this up and, again, leverage technology as much as we can to bring people into the department for a great career. So, Madam Chair, this concludes a pretty brief report, and I'll be glad to entertain any questions or comments.
Are there any questions or comments?
Okay,
I think you gave a very complete report, but thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to have our board committee reports. Jamie Boswell will present the first one.
This is Board Committee report for Finance, Board Committee report, Finance Committee. The Finance Committee convened on August 17th at 1:30 p.m. Board members present included myself, Ann Purcell, Robert Brown, Emily Dunn, Kevin Abel, Johnny Floyd, Dennis McIntyre, Stacy Key, Rudy Boyne, Jeff Lewis, Greg Morris, and Jerry Sharon. Angela Whitworth, Treasurer, presented the amended 2023 and 2024 budgets. She reported the revenue for the amended 2023 budget remained the same and there were no changes. The 2024 budget increased a total of $85 million, with $24 million coming from an increase in excise revenue and $61 million from increased transportation trust fund fees. Transit trust fund fees and state general fund remained the same. The increased funds were added to several programs, with $52.8 million going to capital construction, $8.7 million to capital maintenance, $3.5 million to department administration, $2.4 million to local maintenance and improvement grants, $19.5 million to routine maintenance, and $6.1 million to transit. Robert Brown made a motion to approve the amended 2023 budget and the full 2024 budget. Ann Purcell seconded the motion. The committee unanimously approved. The committee adjourned at 1:40 p.m., and this concludes my report. And I now make a motion to the full board to approve the amended 2023 budget and the full 2024 budget.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Boswell. Ms. Purcell?
The Statewide Transportation Strategic Planning Committee convened on August the 17th at 2 p.m. Board members present included myself, Floyd, Lewis, McIntyre, Dunn, Abel, Brown, Key, Bowen, Boswell, Morris, Sharon. The first order of business to Jean Miller, our Director of Planning, and Mark Smith, the Senior Planning Policy Coordinator, providing an update on GDOT's National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Deployment Plan, which was successfully submitted to the FHWA's Joint Program Office of Energy and Transportation on August the 1st this year. The presentation covered the purpose of the goals of the NEPA program, the state's two newly designated alternative fuel corridors, which were the US 82 as well as US 441, GDOT's vision for NEPA deployment, stakeholder engagement, and the next steps in the process for the state. Having no further business, the committee was adjourned at 2:46. And Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Abel?
The P3 committee convened on August 17th, 2022 at 2:47 p.m. Board members present included myself, Stacy Key, Jeff Lewis, Emily Dunn, Ann Purcell, Johnny Floyd, Dennis McIntyre, Rudy Bowen, Tim Golden, Jamie Boswell, and Greg Morris. First order of business, Tim Matthews, State Express Lanes Administrator, provided an update on the SR 400 Express Lanes project. Topics included a project overview, procurement status with current activities, and MARTA BRT coordination, including Express Lanes Transit, ELT. The department has issued notice to proceed for final design and construction on SR 400 Phase 1, which consists of 3 bridge replacements for Pitts Road, Roberts Drive, and Kimball Bridge Road. Several major utility relocations, including Colonial Pipeline and a City of Atlanta 48-inch water line, have either been completed or underway. It was also announced that the request for qualifications was sent out in March 22, and the department received 3 responses to the RFQ on July 28th. The project remains in an open, active procurement, and the evaluation of the SOQs is underway, not complete. No actions were taken during this committee. The committee adjourned at 3 p.m., and this concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I have the report for the Committee of the Whole. The Committee of the Whole convened on August 17th at 3 p.m. Board members included myself, Abel, Brown, Purcell, Floyd, McIntyre, Key, Bowen, Boswell, Lewis, Morris, Lemon, and Sharon. Our first order of business included the Director of Strategic Communications, Scott Higley, announced the introduction of GDOT's new external-facing website on August 1st, underscoring the importance of a more functional web presence for GDOT. He then introduced Ron Battle, Manager of the Digital Services and Web Strategy, who orchestrated the development and implementation of the new website. Ron provided background on the extensive process to create the new site, which included input from internal focus groups, which was more than 100 GDOT staffers contributing to the process. Ron then demonstrated the new user-friendly focus and more intuitive navigation of the website, showcasing various sections and links to offices, programs, and projects. He acknowledged the partnership with GDOT's IT department and many others in bringing the new website to life and invited members of the board to explore the new site themselves. There were no actions taken during this committee, and our committee adjourned at 3:24. This concludes my report. Okay. At this time, now it's that time of year when we do, when we reorganize our board leadership. So at this time, I'd like to know, are there any, I'd open the floor for nominations for board leadership.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate a slate of officers, please.
Okay.
For chairman, Kevin Abel. For vice chairman, Robert Brown. For secretary, Ann Purcell.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, being none, then the nominations are closed for the position of for the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. All those in favor of this slate of nominations, please vote. Are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, well, welcome, Mr. Abel and the rest. So, it's been a fun year for me, and, I would tell you the most fun part to me was, the ability to speak with Russell or the commissioner once a week. And I get a copy of his schedule, and you cannot imagine how busy this man is. They schedule every mile he drives, and about once a month, he even has free time for 15 minutes. So, I'm like, okay, where is lunch here? And, I'm like, doesn't he need a nap every now and then? But that was a very enjoyable experience for me, along with just working with the department in this, wonderful time that we have. So, thank you.
Can we go on?
Of course.
You know, this morning, as Russell mentioned, was the WTS breakfast, organization that advances women in transportation, and Emily was recognized as not only being the current female chair and leader of the State Transportation Board, but actually the first female leader of the State Transportation Board back in 2015. So, you know, when I first met Emily 3.5 years ago when I got on the board, I might have been fooled by her quiet, soft-spoken North Georgia Southern charm. But I quickly soon came to realize and understand the force of personality and strength and calm leadership that Emily exudes. This board is united. This board acts together. There's tremendous collegiality, and it all comes from the leadership at the top, the leadership that was exhibited by Queen Anne, as I recall, when I first started on the board, and then Tim Golden, and then Rudy Bowen, and most recently Emily. So, you know, I'm honored to follow in your footsteps and to have learned from you. And you know, we thank you. The State Transportation Board thanks you for your leadership. The Georgia DOT thanks you for the leadership. And most certainly, last but not least, the citizens of Georgia thank you for their leadership. You know, in past years that I've watched the transition of leadership, the little token of appreciation has been a gavel, a lucite gavel, and I thought that was a tremendous symbol, a metaphor of your strong leadership. Today, I find that it's a Georgia peach, which I think is just as well representative of who you are, Emily. So thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you again, and I've got a special place for this. It is very beautiful, but thank you again. Okay, is there any new business? If not, we are adjourned.